We are back today with another video on the channel as we are doing the Battle of Scotland, you could say, possibly. I mean, we've put Celtic and Rangers basically both into the English league system starting in the Premier League. We're going to give them 5 years to see what Celtic and Rangers can do with the top guns in England, the likes of Man City, Manchester United, Birmingham City, question mark. But we'll see over this 5-year simulation what happens if we put the current teams of both Celtic and Rangers into the English league. Let's dive in and see what happened within Season 1. So Season 1 starts something like this. In the comment section, let me know, who are the 2 teams missing from the English league system in the Premier League that have been replaced by both Celtic and Rangers? You can see the league table there, give you a brief overview. Let me know in the comment section who is the missing teams from the Premier League. So that's how we're going to start things off with both Celtic and Rangers in the Premier League. And we dive back in 1 year's time and see what has happened after 1 season of both the Scottish Giants living in the Premier League. So as Season 1 comes to an end, we're going to start with Celtic, have a bit of a brief overview. I mean, hopefully there's no spoilers here for you, but we can see straight away. Man City won the Premier League, of course, yet again. Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea dominating the league system. But you can see the top 10 there. Where are Rangers and Celtic? I mean, there's a spoiler right here at the top of the screen. Celtic came 17th. They narrowly avoided relegation from the Premier League. But what about Rangers? Rangers came rock bottom of the Premier League. They did not have a good time at all. Within their 38 games, they only won 5 games, drawing 11 and losing a massive 22 games, going down on 26 points. We can see Celtic narrowly avoided relegation, only on goal difference to Southampton, who joined Brentford going into the Sky Bet Championship. Celtic survived, but what about the Cups? How do they get on within the Cup competitions? So in terms of European football this year, Celtic did not make it out of the Champions League group. They got victories against the likes of Porto here and even Leipzig, but that was as far as they went for them. It was not enough to get them out of their Champions League group. But in terms of Carabao Cups, they beat Southampton 3-2, their relegation rivals almost there. They beat them 3-2, but lost 1-1 on a penalty shootout in the end to Everton in the Carabao Cup, 4th round. In terms of the FA Cup, though, a good run starting by beating Sheffield Wednesday 2-0, beating Millwall 3-1, but eventually, again, losing to Everton, this time a 3-2 defeat in the FA Cup 5th round. So the Celtic finished the season with 0 trophies. As for the other side of things, it didn't get much better in the Champions League for Rangers. They did not qualify past the qualification stage. They lost to Monaco in both of their legs, you can see here above. And then the Europa League happened. In their group, they did not make it out of their group. We'll put the group on screen for you right now. As Rennes and Fenerbahce qualified the top 2 spots within their group. Rangers only getting 1 victory in their 6 matches within the Europa League. An awful season for Rangers. But Rangers did actually go quite far within the Europa League. They made it to the round of 16, eventually getting knocked out by Nice. Nice, on the other hand, did they go all the way to the final? They did not. Villarreal won the Conference League in that one. But you bet you're wondering now, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, how did Rangers get on with those? Well, they got as far as the 4th round beating Leeds, and then following that they went to the 5th round and lost to Leicester in the FA Cup. In terms of the Carabao Cup though, they only lost in the 4th round to West Bromwich Albion of the Championship. Rangers already showing they're struggling against Championship sides. How will they fare next season as they go into the Championship? So we're going to start things off this time with Rangers. In the Championship, they did not get promotion. They finished 9th within the Championship. After 46 games, only getting 20 victories, 9 draws and 17 defeats on 69 points. But they did not make the cut and did not get into the playoffs. A poor season overall for Rangers. Of course, though, the likes of Alfredo Morelos did remain at the club. In terms of their season, how did they go for him in the Championship? He got 7 goals in 33 appearances. Not at his best goal scoring ratio ever with Rangers. It didn't go well for him down there. But now we should probably go to the other side and go see how Celtic got on within the Premier League. But as a quick one, we should probably mention quickly as well. The Carabao Cup, West Brom got the better of Rangers yet again. A 4-1 victory for West Brom in the Carabao Cup 1st round. In terms of the FA Cup, they lost 2-1 to Aston Villa after getting past Preston in that 3rd round. By the 4th round, Rangers were out of it. A very slumber season for Rangers, still stuck in the Championship and no silverware to be seen. So as we go back across now, in Season 2 we go check out on Celtic, who finished 15th in the Premier League. A much better turnaround for Celtic this time, avoiding relegation nicely, but a good 5 points there on 37 points, winning only 9 out of their 38 matches all season, drawing 10 and losing 19, finishing on a -19 negative goal difference. But as for Celtic's form within the cup competitions, again, they got quite far. They got as far as the quarterfinals here against Leeds. Again, losing out on penalties though in that quarterfinal, Carabao Cup quarterfinal heartbreak for the Celtic club. And of course then, the FA Cup came round, they got knocked out in that third round, their first round in the competition, losing 3-0 to West Ham. So after a fairly quiet season for both sides, we're going to go forward another year now and see what happens in season number 3. So when season number 3 comes around now, we are back and Celtic again avoiding the drop on 39 points yet again after their 38 games, only winning 8 games, 15 draws and 15 losses. They avoid the drop yet again into the Sky Bet Championship. But in terms of their cup competition form, how did it go? Well, again, they failed to impress in the cups. This time, Fulham beat them in the Carabao Cup 4th round 2-0 defeat at Craven Cottage, and in the FA Cup, they were knocked out in the 3rd round replay to Aston Villa. After drawing 2-2 at home, they went to Villa Park and lost 2-0. Could it be that the travel schedule is just far too much travelling from Scotland for these games? Perhaps so, but right now, Celtic are struggling, but they are still surviving within the Premier League. Let's jump over to the blue side and see how Rangers got on. So we'll come in here at the Sky Bet playoffs. In the Championship, Rangers made it into the top 6, but got knocked out in the semi-final of the playoffs, losing to Middlesbrough. After 2 legs, Middlesbrough go through to the final versus Nottingham Forest. But within the league table, this is how things finished. Rangers came 5th in the league. They were so close to getting promoted back to the Premier League after 46 games. They got 23 victories, 11 draws, 12 losses, a total of 80 points, narrowly missing out on that 2nd place championship finish and getting automatic promotion. But the cup form yet again failed to amaze as the Rangers team lost out to Blackpool 2-0 in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup, and it didn't get much better there in the FA Cup as they went away to Wigan and they lost 2-1 to Wigan in the FA Cup 3rd round. Again, Rangers failing to really put the fire under their bellies when it came to that all-important competition. And of course, losing out in that playoff semi-final did not help at all. That 1-0 defeat away at home to Middlesbrough, I mean, it wasn't that far to travel, so we can't give them the travel excuses for that one. But a defeat again will see Rangers remain in the Championship and Celtic remain in the Premier League as we go into season number 4. So we kick things off with Rangers down in the Championship, and this season they did not deliver the goods at all. Finishing 9th in the Championship, they missed the playoffs completely this time. Nowhere near it in the end. Not the best of seasons for Rangers. After their 46 games, they got 18 wins, 11 draws, 17 losses. A few too many losses for Rangers. See them miss out on the playoffs, going back to the Premier League. And we can dive in again and have a look at their cup runs. They lost early on in the Carabao Cup 1st round this time to Coventry, a 1-0 defeat against Coventry at home. Not good enough at all. But in the FA Cup, they went a little bit further this year after beating Oxford in the 3rd round of the FA Cup 1-0. They then took on Everton, Premier League Everton, beating them 1-0 and even beating Brighton on penalties within the 5th round. Seeing Rangers go to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, losing out to Aston Villa on 2-1. So as we dive back in now, in season number 4 for Celtic, it's been a bit of a weird old season for Celtic anyway. They finished 13th in the league after their 38 games, getting 11 victories, 10 draws and 17 defeats. But I want to draw your eyes to the bottom of the table. In 18th place, West Ham are relegated but qualify for the Europa League. West Ham, for 1-1 draw in the FA Cup and winning on penalties, will see them play European football but be in the Championship. So in terms of Celtic's season, they knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the quarter-final stage to Manchester City. No harm done there. You kind of expect that against Manchester City right now. But in terms of the FA Cup, Aston Villa again seem to be the team knocking out the Scottish teams right now. Within the FA Cup 5th round, Villa won 2-1. Aston Villa, I may hate them myself, but right now, they are bodying the Scottish sides they are. So as season number 4 comes to an end, we go now to the final season, season number 5, and let's see just how Celtic and Rangers get on. Can Rangers get back to the promised land of the Premier League, or will Celtic push on from 13th, or see themselves slide down the Premier League table? So this time out, we're starting things in the Premier League, and with Celtic. Celtic finished 12th within the Premier League, their highest finish so far within this simulation. Maybe it'd be interesting to see just how much they improve over the coming years. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see how Celtic do within another 5 years in the Premier League. Maybe, just maybe, they challenge towards the European spots. They're only 10 points away this year, so who knows. But in terms of the cup competitions, again, didn't really go in Celtic's way this time, by them losing 1-0 in the 2nd round of the Carabao Cup to Leicester. And the FA Cup equally going as bad as they drew Newcastle. They were at home, but it didn't go to plan, losing 2-1 to the northern side. So as we leave Celtic now, after 5 years in the future, have things really improved for the club? I mean, in terms of the bank balance and estimated value of the club, massively different. Of course, manager Scott Brown now is the key man here at the club. But for now, let's dive over and see how the other side are getting on as we go to Rangers. So we start things off with the championship table. Rangers finishing 4th in the league, getting playoffs again and failing in the playoffs yet again. This time, they got to that semi-final playoff against Burnley, losing 3-2 on aggregate, coming so close to getting back to the Premier League, but not close enough for the Scottish side. Again, Watford beating Middlesbrough in the other semi-final, which led to the final where Burnley go back to the Premier League. But in terms of Rangers league form, a massive improvement after 46 games, winning 21, drawing 12 and only losing the 13 with a positive goal difference of 13. But let's dive in and see what's been happening within the cups. So Rangers carry on with their Carabao Cup first round exits, this time losing to Crystal Palace 1-0 in the opening game of the competition, and the FA Cup didn't go much better. This time losing 4-0 to Manchester City. Imagine getting Man City in your first draw in the FA Cup. This time it wasn't to be. A lot of goals put past them and their cup dream ends at the Etihad. So after a weird old season and again failing within the playoffs, new manager Albert Capellas has a big job to do with Rangers in the future. Can he get them back to the promised land of the Premier League? So there you have it then. We've seen 5 years for both Rangers and Celtic, one being more dominant than the other by a landslide. But let me know in the comment section, is there anything particularly you want to see from within the save, certain players, how they got on within the Premier League from both Celtic or Rangers? Or even if you want the save file yourself to have an experiment and see how it goes on being later than 5 years in the future, or even from the very start, let me know in the comment section and we'll make downloads available for that for you. But of course, for now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel and giving the video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section if you want to see any more videos of this nature on the channel. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.